You set rank to 8, alpha to 16, and target Q_proj and V_proj, because that is what the tutorial used. The training loss converges. Then you evaluate on your domain benchmark and the fine-tuned model scores, 3 points below the baseline you were expecting. That gap is not a method failure.
Chen here. The default settings in most public recipes were tuned on the original LoRA paper's GPT-3 experiments. Those hyperparameters transfer reasonably well to instruction, following tasks on transformer models in the 7 billion to 13 billion range. They do not transfer cleanly to narrow domain adaptation, code generation, or models with substantially different hidden dimensions.
Arjun here. The empirical cost of a mismatched rank configuration is real. On narrow domain benchmarks like medical question answering or legal contract classification, rank 8. Fine-tunes consistently score 2 to 5 percentage points below. Rank 16 or rank 32 configurations with the same dataset and the same training budget. That gap is not theoretical.
Nova here. 3 variables drive the LoRA architecture decision: rank R, alpha, and target modules. Each has a different empirical sensitivity profile. Rank is the capacity lever. Alpha controls the effective learning rate on the LoRA path, and target modules determine which matrices get adapted. Last episode, we covered why full fine-tune LoRA and qLoRA differ in memory. Today, we go into the configuration space that makes LoRA actually work for your task. The episode closes with the Diagnostic Run Pattern, a short, cheap run that tells you the right configuration before committing to a full training budget. The rank R sets the dimension of both low-rank matrices. B has shape D by R, and A has shape R by D. The product B times A has the same shape as the weight matrix, W, but a rank at most R. A higher rank gives the adapter more capacity to represent complex weight updates, at the cost of more trainable parameters.
The trainable parameter count scales linearly with rank, 2 times R times D per adapted layer. For a 7 billion model with hidden dimension 4000, adapting Q_proj and V_proj at rank 16 gives roughly 33 million trainable parameters. Doubling rank to 32 doubles that count to 66 million, which is still a tiny fraction of the full model.
Good, Chen. The diminishing returns curve is the key practical insight. Published comparisons show that rank 32 captures roughly 85% of the quality gain that rank 64 provides, at half the adapter parameter cost. Going from rank 8 to rank 16 typically yields a larger improvement than going from rank 32 to 64.
High ranks, 32 to 64, are justified when the task requires a domain shift, injecting new factual knowledge, adapting to a radically different output format, or training on a specialized vocabulary that the base model rarely saw. For those tasks, the adapter needs more capacity to redistribute the attention patterns substantially.
On the other end, rank 1 to 4 is enough for pure style or tone transfer tasks. If you are converting a base model to respond in a specific persona, maintain a consistent format, or match a house style guide, a rank 4 adapter trained on a few thousand examples gets you there without the memory overhead of rank 32.
The alpha parameter scales the LoRA output before it is added to the original weight matrix. The actual scaling factor applied during the forward pass is alpha divided by R. A higher alpha relative to rank amplifies the LoRA contribution more strongly. It is effectively a separate learning rate multiplier on the adapter path.
The alpha equals 2R heuristic comes from the observation that the effective scaling alpha over R should stay constant as you change the rank. If you double R from 8 to 16, doubling alpha from 16 to 32 keeps the scaling factor at 2. This makes it easier to sweep rank without also sweeping alpha independently. Erica, the heuristic breaks at high ranks. When rank reaches 64 or 128 and alpha is set to double that, the adapter contribution can become large enough to destabilize the base model's learned representations early in training. The symptom is loss spiking before settling, or training loss that oscillates rather than converging monotonically.
A safer default for high-rank experiments is alpha equals R, which sets the scaling factor to exactly 1. That is the neutral configuration. The adapter contributes at unit scale and the optimizer moves it where the gradient signal points. Most practitioners who have moved away from the 2R heuristic settle on this.
rsLoRA from Kolodjidebski 2023, RxIV 2312.03732, replaces the alpha over R, scaling with alpha over square root RR. That change stabilizes training at high ranks by preventing the adapter output from growing too large. Available in the Hugging Face PEFT library via the use_rsLoRA equals true flag in LoRA config.
The attention-only default, targeting Q_proj and V_proj, is motivated by the Hu et al. Paper which showed those layers captured most adaptation signal for text generation tasks. What it misses is the MLP sublayer, which is where a substantial fraction of the model's factual knowledge is thought to reside based on mechanistic interpretability work.
The all-linear strategy targets Q_proj, K_proj, V_proj, O_proj in the attention block, plus up_proj, down_proj, and gate_proj in the MLP block. Unsloth's benchmarks show this configuration consistently outperforms attention only on instruction, following quality metrics with less than 20% additional training memory.
Good point, Arjun. MLP targets matter most when the task requires factual knowledge injection, teaching the model a new domain's terminology, specific dates or figures or procedures it has not seen. For purely stylistic adaptation, the attention layers are often sufficient, and the MLP targets add training overhead without meaningful quality gain.
Two special targets appear in some recipes, LM_head and embed_tokens. These are the output projection and the input embedding table. They are appropriate only for vocabulary extension tasks, where you are adding new tokens to the model's vocabulary. For standard domain adaptation or instruction, following fine-tuning, targeting these layers rarely helps and can slow convergence. The practical way to enumerate the available target modules for any model is to call model.named_modules in Python and filter for linear layers. The Hugging Face PEFT library also provides target_modules equals all linear as a string shorthand that automatically targets every linear layer in the model architecture.
The LoRA _dropout parameter adds dropout to the LoRA path between A and B during training. For clean, large datasets, the empirical evidence shows minimal benefit and can slightly degrade convergence speed. For small or noisy datasets under 2,000 examples, a value of 0.05 to 0.1 provides marginal regularization benefit.
The bias parameter controls whether the bias terms in the targeted linear layers are trained. The standard default is none, which leaves all biases frozen. The LoRA_only option trains the biases only in the LoRA targeted layers. In practice, bias equals LoRA_only rarely produces a meaningful quality difference and adds a small amount of trainable state.
For fine-grained control, the Hugging Face PEFT library accepts a rank_pattern dictionary that assigns different ranks to different layers. For example, later transformer layers can use rank 32 while early layers use rank 8. This is useful when a model shows layer-wise sensitivity analysis, indicating that only the final third of layers contribute meaningfully to the target task.
DORA, available as use_DORA equals true in LoRA config, decomposes the adapted weight into a magnitude component and a direction component and applies LoRA only to the direction. The reported benefit is more stable training and slightly better quality on instruction following tasks. The cost is roughly double the backward pass memory of standard LoRA at the same rank.
The interaction to watch out for: Nova flagged this in the pre-read. Combining high rank with non-zero dropout gives you two regularizers that work in opposite directions relative to capacity. High rank increases model capacity. Dropout reduces effective capacity during training. Pick one instrument and use it intentionally rather than stacking both.
The Diagnostic Run Pattern is a short, cheap experiment that runs before the full training run. You configure rank at 2, set max steps to 50 or 100, and run on a single GPU with your actual dataset and base model. The goal is not to produce a usable model, but to measure the signal-to-noise ratio in your setup. 2 metrics to watch during the diagnostic run: the gap between training loss and validation loss, which tells you whether the adapter is overfitting at rank 2 already, and the gradient norm of the LoRA parameters. A gradient norm that spikes and does not decay is a sign that the learning rate is too high relative to alpha, regardless of rank.
The rank ladder is the sweep procedure. Run rank 2, measure dev set quality, then rank 8, rank 16, rank 32. Stop when the quality gain on your development set is less than 5% relative to the previous step. That is your optimal rank. The entire ladder typically takes less than 1/10 of the compute of one full training run.
Once rank is locked, run 2 final short experiments: alpha equals R and alpha equals 2R. Compare the training loss curves and dev set scores. In most cases, the difference is small, and either works. The value of doing this sweep is catching the minority of cases where your dataset and task produce a strong sensitivity to the scaling factor.
If you forget everything else in this episode, remember, the default configuration is a guess for a different task on a different model. The diagnostic run is a measurement on your actual problem. A 3-hour diagnostic sweep before a 300-step full run is one of the cheapest engineering decisions available to you. Drop in the comments what rank you land on. The rank R sets adapter capacity. Alpha over R is the effective scaling factor on the LoRA path. The all-linear target module strategy outperforms attention only on most instruction, following benchmarks. And the diagnostic run pattern finds the right configuration before you commit a full GPU day to a misconfigured run. 3 years of compute time across this community has been burned on rank, 8 defaults that were the wrong size for the task. You now have the framework to stop guessing. Next episode covers the single largest determinant of fine-tune quality that is not the method or the hyperparameters. Watch the next video to find out why your dataset shape is probably the wrong one for your deployment target. If this episode saved you a wasted training run, subscribe. Dataset curation, the unsloth and axolotl tooling comparison, and GGUF deployment are all ahead in this series.
Great series so far.
Tikma. See you next time.
Don't forget to like. I am Professor Erica, signing off.